The first message arrived at 11:58 p.m., just as I was about to fall asleep. My phone lit up the dark room, a single notification on the screen. It was from an unknown number. "Don't go to work tomorrow." I chuckled, assuming it was a prank from one of my friends. Probably Dave. He was always pulling stuff like this. I dismissed the message, rolled over, and closed my eyes, thinking nothing more of it. Work was a mountain of deadlines, and there was no way I was skipping it. The next morning, my alarm blared at its usual 7 a.m. I slapped the snooze button, burrowing deeper into my pillows for just 5 more minutes of peace. When the second alarm went off, I finally dragged myself out of bed. As I stumbled towards the coffee machine, my phone buzzed again. I glanced at it. Another message from the same unknown number. "You're already late." I frowned. It was only 7:12 a.m. I wasn't late yet. But then, my eyes caught the timestamp on the message. It was dated for tomorrow. My heart skipped a beat. A glitch. A weird bug in the messaging app. I tried to rationalize it, but an uneasy feeling started to creep in. I shook my head, grabbed my coffee, and started getting ready for work. I was just about to leave when I got a frantic call from my boss. "Mark, where are you? The big presentation. It was moved up to 8 a.m. You missed it." My stomach dropped. I checked my email, and there it was. An email sent late last night that I had completely missed. The presentation I'd been preparing for all week. I'd missed it. I was officially, disastrously late. The message from my phone echoed in my mind. "You're already late." It wasn't a warning. It was a statement of fact sent before it happened. A cold dread washed over me. This was more than a prank. Shaken, I decided to head into the office anyway, to try and do some damage control. As I approached the subway station, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out. "Take the stairs." The message was stark, simple, again, dated for tomorrow. I looked at the bustling escalator, packed with commuters, and then at the empty, slightly grimy staircase next to it. My logical brain told me to ignore it, to just get on the escalator like everyone else. But the memory of the missed presentation was still fresh. A shiver went down my spine. Against my better judgment, I turned and headed for the stairs. Just as I reached the top, a loud crash and a series of screams echoed from below. I spun around to see a chaotic scene. The escalator had malfunctioned, a pileup of twisted metal and injured people. If I had been on it, I would have been right in the middle of that mess. My breath caught in my throat. The phone, it had saved me. Now I was terrified. What was happening? Who was sending these messages? And how did they know? Throughout the day, the strange predated messages continued. Each one was a small, cryptic instruction. At 10:30 a.m., just as I was about to pour myself another coffee, my phone buzzed. "The coffee is burnt." I hesitated, then went to the machine. A colleague who had just poured a cup took a sip and immediately spit it out, complaining about the acrid burnt taste. Later, as I was walking back to my desk, another message. "Don't go to the break room." I paused, confused. Minutes later, my boss stormed out of the break room, his face red with anger, yelling at another employee for taking a personal call. I had narrowly avoided walking into his line of fire. The most unnerving one came in the afternoon. My phone vibrated. "Don't answer her call." I stared at the message, a knot forming in my stomach. A few seconds later, my phone started ringing. The caller ID showed it was my ex-girlfriend, Sarah. We hadn't spoken in months after a messy breakup. My first instinct was to answer, to see what she wanted. But the message, "Don't answer her call." My thumb hovered over the green accept button. Every fiber of my being wanted to know why she was calling after all this time. But the escalator, the coffee, my boss, the messages hadn't been wrong yet. I let it ring until it went to voicemail. I felt a pang of guilt, but also a strange sense of relief. Later that evening, I saw a post on a mutual friend's social media. Sarah had been involved in a pyramid scheme and was apparently calling everyone she knew, desperately trying to recruit them and get money. Answering that call would have been a nightmare. Each message that came true chipped away at my skepticism, replacing it with a growing, gnawing fear. My phone, my lifeline to the world, had become a source of constant anxiety. I was a puppet, and some invisible force was pulling the strings, one text message at a time. I started to rely on it, waiting for the next buzz, the next instruction. It told me which documents to review just before my boss asked for them. It told me to leave the office 5 minutes early, allowing me to catch the last express train and avoid a massive delay. It was making my life perfect. dangerously perfect. I was excelling at work, avoiding all mishaps, but I wasn't living my life anymore. I was just following orders from a phantom texter. The day wore on, and my anxiety grew with each new message. At 6 p.m., "You're about to make a mistake." I was in the middle of drafting an important email. I stopped, rereading it over and over. I found a critical typo in the budget numbers, a mistake that would have cost the company thousands. I corrected it, my hands trembling slightly. It felt like walking a tightrope, and the messages were the only thing keeping me from falling. But what was the end game? Why was this happening to me? I got home, my mind a swirling mess of confusion and fear. I ordered a pizza, too exhausted to cook. As I sat on my couch, staring blankly at the TV, another message arrived. The delivery guy will have the wrong order. Sure enough, when the doorbell rang, the pizza in the box was a bizarre combination of anchovies and pineapple, something I would never order. I pointed it out, and the flustered delivery guy found my actual order in his bag. It was almost becoming mundane, this constant stream of minor prophecies, but the mundanity was what made it so terrifying. It was weaving itself into the fabric of my normal life. I tried to ignore my phone, to put it away and just be, but I couldn't. I was addicted to the certainty it provided, even as it terrified me. The sun set, and my apartment grew dark. I didn't bother turning on the lights. I just sat there, waiting. I knew another message would come. I could feel it. And at 9:41 p.m., the screen lit up one last time. The letters glowed eerily in the darkness. "You shouldn't be reading this." My blood ran cold. This message was different. It wasn't a warning about a future event. It was about right now. It was about me, looking at the screen. A wave of pure panic washed over me. Before I could even process what it meant, the screen on my phone went completely black, dead. I frantically pressed the power button, the volume keys, anything, nothing. It was a brick, a useless piece of glass and metal in my hand. The silence in the apartment was suddenly deafening. The connection was severed. The prophecies had stopped. For a moment, I felt a flicker of relief. Maybe it was over. Maybe the glitch had fixed itself, or the prankster had finally given up. But then, from behind me, I heard a familiar buzz. That same distinct vibration of a text message alert. My heart stopped. It was impossible. My phone was in my hand. It was dead. I could feel its cold, lifeless weight against my palm. I didn't dare turn around. My entire body was frozen in place. The sound had come from the other side of the room, from the dark corner by the window. Slowly, a new light began to glow in that corner, casting long, distorted shadows across the floor. It was the light of a phone screen. Another phone. The vibration came again, louder this time, insistent. It was coming from my own phone. My phone that was still clutched, dead, in my hand. The vibration I heard wasn't from a device. It was coming from me. The buzzing was inside my own pocket, but my pocket was empty. The buzzing was coming from me. I looked down at my hand. The phone I was holding wasn't a phone anymore. It was just a black, reflective piece of glass. And in its reflection, I could see the room behind me, and standing in the corner, holding a glowing phone, was a figure. It looked exactly like me, and it was starting to smile. Thanks for watching. If this story gave you the chills, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more horror stories every week. Stay safe, and always check your messages.